I will be talking about how to digitize your operations and why this is so important in these days. But first, let me just give you a little bit of my background so that you'll understand why I'm talking or why I'm here even today. I spent the summer in 2012 being a housekeeper for 5 months. And about halfway through the summer, I started noticing that we were extremely inefficient. And the reason was in the way we were organized internally and how we communicated. It was by paper, phones, emails, you know, the classical setup. And so a couple of examples, what went wrong is that, for example, this is Jen on the picture. If she wanted to know what rooms I've cleaned, she would have to walk over to me. If I wanted to report a repair, I would write it down, give it to her. She would give it to a janitor later on and so on. And all the time, front office would not know what we've done so far. So, you know, at the end of the day, we had a lot of guests waiting a lot of times. We did a lot of the mistakes that we could avoid. And it was really all due to the communication. So when I came back, the idea was, and the product today is that we would we would make one app, one communication channel for all the staff in the property. And that way we would eliminate all the communication bottlenecks. And this is really how FlexKeeping was born in a very short couple of minutes. But I want to talk to you today about 3 objectives and why tech like this is important today and how you should implement it. So the 3 objectives are, of course, safety. We've talked about that a lot, having guests and staff safe. The second is flexibility. You have to scale up and scale down your operations all the time. And the third one is obviously optimization. And we're talking about minimizing your costs, but also maximizing quality, maybe even increasing it at the same time. So there are a couple of solutions and principles you need to think about, and here they are. So the fundamentals are, first of all, you need to really digitalize your team communication, and if you can, you should provide one communication to all staff and enable them to communicate everything that they need to do during the day. This is really the basic. The second thing, we are today talking a lot about safety and standards, right? So there are 250 and more standards. So it's important that the ones that you choose and implement, that staff can reach them whenever from whenever, especially now that you have a lot of staff coming and going, unfortunately. And the third thing, which is highly connected to both previous examples, is that you are using checklists, but you should really do that digitally as well in the same platform. Because they are really good for training and maintaining compliance and everything else that is important. So those are the 3 basic things that everyone should think about. If you're not yet doing, it would be a good idea. It would make you safer, more flexible, and also optimize your processes at the same time. When you have this in place, it's also automation is a big opportunity for optimization. So in terms of cleaning, which is my today's more focus, you first of all can schedule in the future your rooms and cleanings to staff, and through that you can optimize your costs on that level. So this is really easy to do these days, especially with integrations. And the second thing, which is also very basic, is you can automate a lot of your daily and service tasks. And I'm talking about, for example, 2 easy examples. Something like extra towels is super standardized, and you can automate the dispatchment and completion of such tasks easily. And the other thing, Airbnb and others might have certain cleaning protocols that you need to follow. And this needs to translate also in your internal processes and into the communication. And this as well can be automated. So 2 very simple examples. You don't need to administer by hand. This can be all automated and much more, of course. And the first things we talked about data. In operations, data is super crucial to identify bottlenecks, costs and quality and everything around that. But it's also super crucial that you view at data through multiple KPIs to identify really the success rate. So in housekeeping performance, I would suggest looking at least 6, 7 KPIs. Not just cleaning times, mistakes, also who was staying, how many guests, where they're from, and other KPIs. And this then gives you really a good idea where and how to optimize. So that's in short. Now I want to show you also 2 very good examples of the above. So one is a very small property, 20 rooms only in Belize. They have only 16 staff, and yet this year, with COVID, they created 95 internal SOPs. They have 45 checklists, and they communicated between those 16 people almost 6,000 tasks. So it's not about how much they've used the platform, it's how much communication is happening already in such a small property. And think about scaling, think about if you're a bigger property. So this is super important, right? For safety, for flexibility, for transparency, and at the end of the day, for your data and optimization. And the second example is really showcasing how every detail in your operation needs to be recorded. Like this is a four properties that started to record in-room small amenities like shampoos, lotion, and stuff. And they, since they did that, they saw a 15% drop in material costs. And the only reason is because it's real time, it's digital, and it's tracked. So that's as simple as it gets. But it's super important that you are tracking everything that you are doing in your operations. So to sum it up, it's really crucial today to make your operations digital out of all the reasons we talked about above. Automation, having knowledge in your pocket, and training capabilities is super important at the end. And at the end of the day, if you do have your operations totally completely digitized, you will have the most valuable data and you will have the more opportunities to optimize. And I would leave you with a food for thought maybe. Building trust, gaining trust is a big topic. And there is, if you digitalize your operations to the maximum, and if you are confident in what you're doing, I think the ultimate way to prove that you are safe is by showcasing that, by streamlining that through the various channels. And this can only be done if you're completely transparent and if you're completely running on a digital basis. And with that, I would now open the panel, hopefully, Omer.